Yo, wait, I gotta turn on the smoothness some. Okay, wait, I gotta do it again. Nah. So, you may or may have not heard of a person called Gt404. Here for the past few weeks, there has been this trend where Gorilla Tag YouTubers will dress up as a mysterious channel, and then people will have some amount of time left to figure out who they are. The one who is responsible for this trend is TatCat, the owner of Gorilla Tag Countdown, and there have been several knockoffs of these channels, but one that has really stood out is Gt404, and we're gonna explain who he is in this video. On August 21st, this video gets uploaded saying, which Gorilla Tag creator am I? The comments started saying it was Mason Does XD, but I would really doubt that. I've met Mason before, there's just possibly no way. But let's take a deep dive through this video and what it has to say.
Who is the voice behind the screen? A phantom face, nowhere seen. Torsos carved with careful hands. Where is buried, shifting sands. The clock keeps singing, secret stays. A tangled web of endless days. Each school step, each trying to spin. A kind of ways.
5 weeks time, the silence breaks, a whisper thing, a trail it makes. I'm not going back to see what it is. What I'm guessing is that this is gonna last for 5 weeks, and after the 5 weeks, he's gonna reveal who he is, and that all the whispers and hints is gonna lead us to a trail of whatever he is gonna be. 10 sharp hints like shards of glass, laid in the shadows for watchers to pass. What I'm thinking here is that the hints are going to be so freaking obvious, but people are just going to pass right by it and not say anything. Basically, I feel like this is saying that this is going to be hard as crap. This is not going to be obvious, and some things and some hints may be buried or unuseful, or it could be leadaways. Basically fake hints. But the funny thing is, if you go to the beginning of the video, you will see a calendar. It says December. And what time did K9 disappear? December. Now, some of the dates are marked in red. I don't know if these are marking holidays, which I doubt, but quite a few of them are marked in red. And he says in 5 weeks time, the silence breaks. K9 has been very silent, and I'm pretty sure that his silence is gonna break here soon, because obviously I don't think Gt404 has any silence right now, so yeah. And this person over here says, I can hear what sounds like the unique parts of K9's vocal structure. I usually pick up on these things with the voice acting I used to indulge myself in, but I still may be wrong because it could either be an AI voice, a misunderstanding, or my ears are tricking me. I strongly believe this is K9, and I understand, with every single Gorilla Tag content creator mystery, they always think it's K9 because K9 is silent. But let's be real here. In one of his hints, he said that he is not J-Man Curly.
I am not Gt404. I am a finger painter.
And in the next one, he is not Melamel.
I'm not Gt404. I do have over 100,000 subscribers, though.
Think about this. He has full contact with these content creators that literally have Illustrator, except for J-Man. And you might be saying, but Gt404 has finger painter, not Illustrator. Only a few people in the world have Illustrator. If he says he has Illustrator, that is gonna make it way obvious. And with another hint saying that he has over 100,000 subscribers, it would also make it way too obvious if he said he had over 1 million. He has to make the choices more broad. I feel like Mr. Blanc here. No! It's just dumb! And also, I'm not even joking, I have met Gt404 many times in the past. I didn't know who he was at first, and I straight up told him that he was attention seeking for leaving and rejoining so quick. First thing I would say, he's tall as crap. He wasn't even using long arms. And when I was there with him, he was using a voice changer, and it was
a squeaky voice changer.
And a random kid went up to him and said, "Are you Lemon?" Which is a Gorilla Tag update leaker. And he said, "No, I'm not Lemon." So Lemon is completely cut off the list. But I will say this, Gt404 is tall. Is that the rocket taking off? Yo, the rocket's taking off. Yo, it took off! Let's go! Sorry about that. And you have to think about this, because if K9 doesn't come here any sooner, he's gonna fall off at some point. This is literally the gold prime opportunity for him to reveal himself. And when people were thinking that Gorilla Tag Countdown was K9, Elliot spoke out about it, saying that it wasn't him. But the thing is, GT Countdown has already been a big craze, and Elliot has said nothing about this, which makes me wonder, it's gotta be K9. That's all of the hints and everything that there is to know currently about GT404. There's currently more hints that are gonna be posted, and yeah. I'm gonna ask random people about GT404 and who they think it is, and why the reasons they think who it is. This actually isn't a random person, but he is a subscriber. If you want to have a chance to be on one of these videos, subscribe. Anyways, who do you think GT404 is, and why do you think it is that person?
Honestly, I do not think it is K9, just because everyone has been wanting to have K9 come back, and there's just been so many channels of people just doing more of these countdown thingies, like Gorilla Tag Countdown. There's just been so many copies of that. I think this is just another one of those, basically, but basically more popular.
I think it's K9 because when I've watched the recent video and his voice sounded like K9, but also I think it could be Apollo.
Again, I really don't think it's K9. I was like watching one of his videos. At the end, there was a red fish, and normally, like, if you kind of look at it, kind of research it up, it's basically trying to throw you off. So I posted that in the chat, like, while watching it, and so then an hour or two later, I got like a thing saying, "You're close," or something like that, and I said, "Am I right?" And he said yes and no all at the same time. So
I thought it was Apollo. His channel went on. I started thinking it was K9 because there was this one post. It was like a red forest, and there was just like random text. It basically, if you put in like a cipher, it reads out, "You know me." Then I thought it was K9 because basically the whole Gorilla Tag community knows who he is.
Thank y'all so much for doing this interview with me, and thank y'all for some of y'all being subscribed. I really appreciate that. Most of the answers that I've gotten, they either think it's Apollo or K9, and yo. So basically what I have gathered is that people think it's mostly Apollo or K9 just because of the fact that they've been missing for a while. And I don't believe it's K9 just because he's also been missing for a while. I just believe it's him because there's a lot of evidence that say he is. I'm stuttering. Anyways, comment who you think it is, and if you went this far, comment star. Subscribe, and you know my signature line. God bless you!